Okay, I'm going to see how focused I can stay for as long as this takes to talk about these boards and pack at the same time. See if this is a good idea. This is our Nexus. This is, well, it's a good thing I dropped it because it turns out it was a blem anyway. I've got some chipped stuff around the hole mounting, kind of shitty. Hate when that happens, but figure out something good to do with it. So, I got two good Nexus decks here. Basically, I'm going to show you the drop decks today because we're packing an order for Uncle Funky's and they sell our drop decks like crazy there. Thank you, Uncle Funky's. Really awesome to have your business, and thanks for promoting our style of writing going on, or whatever it is that people seem to find so attractive about our boards in New York City. Thank you, New York. So anywho, Nexus deck, 9-ply 1-inch drop deck with a drop through mounting. So it's a 1-inch drop from here to here, drop through. We do a fork, nose, and tail. I think some people worry about the fork, nose, and tail when, as far as like durability goes, like it's a kind of maybe just common feeling that you get when you look at it. But I can see where that would add torsional flex for some people. Like, if you're putting a lot of weight on the rail, you're gonna get some twisting here. But we do something that actually negates that quite a bit. It makes me very, very, very confident in our fork design. And that's basically that we add concave in the neck. And it's not like it turns and then concave comes up. It's actually concave is built into the drop, and that's like part of our whole, shindig with these drop boards is we have this curved drop that is concave here, it's concave here, nice round platform here. And it aligns your foot, strengthens the neck by adding concave in spots that would normally only have a two-dimensional turn, so it's a flat surface, kind of bends like a piece of paper. This is a three-dimensional surface, so it doesn't bend at all. It's rock solid all the way through. And there's two bends too, so those bends are actually creating strength. There's like bubble drops, for example. Well, bubble drops are like one kind of three-dimensional bend that comes up, and it's one turn. Maybe it's as strong. I don't know, but I've heard people complain about torsional flex on bubble drops, and I don't have a whole lot of people complaining about torsional flex on our Nexus, our 9-ply drops. So that's that. That's my spiel on the drop. Anywho, great deck for pushing around. Just super, super strong. Should last you forever, Or I'd be hard pressed to find you, feeling like you need a new board because yours is worn out anytime soon. By the time you buy another deck, it'll be because you're like, I love longboarding and I want 1 million decks. So that's the Nexus. 9-ply, 100% stiff, great deck for getting around. Because of its stiffness and torsional rigidity, it's going to be super stable when you're going fast. Whereas, a deck that doesn't have that stability factor, it can kind of get loose on you and kind of get out of control. This, you're always going to be in control because you have a very strong connection between your feet and your body's motion and the motion of what's underneath you. So that's that. We've got two of the smaller guys here going out to Funky's. This is the exact same thing, but it's got a 2-inch shorter platform and it's 9.5 wide, whereas this deck, the Nexus, is 10-inch wide platform. The concaves are actually built off of the exact same curves. Truthfully, we are so close to not making these turns work that I was scared to death to change the curves and push the wood too far and end up with having a ton of blems. So we didn't change anything when we went to a shorter mold, and that mostly results in, well, very, very similar decks, just a little bit smaller. Being that this is 9.5 wide though, we do cut out a tiny bit of the concave on the mold, so you're going to have a little bit more rail access, but because it's not a super sharp concave, this board is even more suited towards cruising, and because of the sharp rail and stiffness, still very, very eligible for downhill. And I have an 11 foot, and the rail access feels really good for downhilling. But you know, if you have a much larger foot, you know, you may feel like you wanted a wider board. So that's the Wanderlust, the regular drop through. We also are sending out a kicktail version. It's got 2 kicks on it. Because of that super stiff neck, we didn't want to take any chances with these. 8-ply, you know, we tried it, but it didn't break on us. It just had a little bit of flex, and I was just scared that, you know, eventually people were gonna crack them. So we decided to still stick with the 9-ply construction. Being that it's kind of smaller and the tails are big, you get a lot of leverage over it though, so it doesn't feel like a heavy board. But it's gonna go, you know, it's a tank, you know, so it'll withstand whatever you can throw at it. So we're you know, we're stoked on that. And we're also sending single kick. I expect this to do pretty well in New York. If I were in New York, this is the deck that I would want. Being that I'm not in the city pushing around, I chose to opt for a no kicks version for myself, or a double kicks version just to have fun on. But if I were in the city, if I were a city rider, I would ride this. 37-ish inches long. I think the wheelbase is 27 inches. It's just a really solid, utilitarian. Everything about it is useful. It feels good underfoot, under your feet. And when you get on there, you're like, okay, if anything happens ahead of me, I have a way to control my board. Kicktail is super useful. I ollied the prototype of this thing like, I don't know, mid-shin height. I'm not a pro or anything at all by any means. So it you know, works well, and it'll do what you need it to do. These are the boards we're sending out to Funkies. I'm not gonna have you sit there and wait for me while I wrap this all up, but you know, that hopefully that was helpful. We have 2 other push boards, the Trip and the Quest. I think I already did a video about that, so I'm not going to go into that. Look at our other videos. Go through that on your own. If you're interested in those, they're lighter weight, more flex, pure push decks, commute decks. If that feels like it's more up your alley, it's probably the route to go. This is a little bit more hybrid, or just for those people who want that strong connection between your feet and the ground, due to the lack of flex and just torsional stiffness, which is good for a lot of people. So might be your bag too. Now I went sour. Now I stop. Now I talk too much. So I'm gonna turn this off. Have a good skate.